Does that look too light? What are you doing? Go. I'm not calling you. Okay, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about this QAV210 build. This is basically an exercise in not giving up. I have other frames that fly really well, an Alien for example, and a small Bolt 180. And you could say, oh, you know what, those fly well, I'll stick with those. And some people do, which is great. But I built this frame for the first time this year, February 2016. And the first time I built it, I couldn't get it to fly right. I didn't like it. It had the 3mm bottom plate, which honestly these days I think that 3mm for a 5-inch frame is just too thin, too flexy. But when this frame was designed, which is like a year ago, summer 2015, not everybody knew that yet. Eventually Lumenier wised up and realized, you know what, we need to make a 4mm plate for this. So anyway, back then I had little B ESCs, Skitzo motors. Hold on. No. I had little B ESCs and I had some Rotorgeeks motors. And I was flying a ready-made RC Dodo. Anyway, I flew about 50 flights and I could not get it tuned. It just oscillated. It just didn't fly right. I really didn't like it at the time. So anyway, I tore it apart, and one thing I noticed, I was like, you know what, I'll get a 4mm plate. So I got the 4mm plate, and while I was at it, I got into the KISS stuff. So I was like, you know what, I'll switch this out. So I switched out the Dodo for the KISS FC, and I put KISS ESCs on it, and I put Skitzo motors. And I was like, oh heck yeah, this is gonna be awesome. It's got Skitzo motors. I paid tons of money for it, and the KISS FC, ooh, this and that, and then the KISS ESCs, I thought it was gonna be amazing, and the stiff bottom plate, the 4mm one. Anyway, so no, it just wouldn't fly right. Yeah, it flew better, but I still had oscillations. I had a lot of bounce on flips and rolls, and I just didn't like how it flew. And that was with KISS RC28 and 1.01 on the ESCs. So anyway, around that time, RC29 came out, and 1.03 for the ESCs came out, and everybody was like, oh, you know what, that'll take care of the oscillations. And I was like, okay, great, fine, so I'll try it. So I tore it apart, had a hell of a time flashing the ESCs. It wasn't easy. Finally, after pulling all my hair out, I finally flashed the ESCs to 1.02, and then through the KISS FC did 1.03. And also, I wanted this rig only to fly a GoPro and a Yi, so it always is supposed to have a HD camera. So that's why I have the drop plate for the battery, which means that to have the CG right, because I can't move the battery forward enough, it always has to have a camera on it. So anyway, so I put it together. Oh, no. I realized the Skitzos, I like the motors, but I don't think they're powerful enough for my style to carry a GoPro. They're fine on 4mm quads, and they're fine on quads that don't carry GoPros, but I wasn't too stoked on it with the weight of the GoPro, or the Yi for that matter. So I was like, I took the Skitzos off, moved them off to a 4-inch frame, and I put a spare of DYS SE2205 23,000 kV motors that I had lying around. And I updated the firmware, put it all together, fixed a couple things I wanted to fix, mounted the camera, and took it out for a flight. Finally, I was happy with how I flew. Within 10 flights, I had tuned it, gotten rid of most oscillations, all oscillations for that matter, and then that was like 8 flights, and then from another 8 flights after that, I got it almost just 90% tuned. So I'm pretty happy now. So definitely RC28 made a difference in the KISS FC and the 1.03 firmware. So if you haven't done it, do it. I also I had dampened the ESC. I have O-rings all over the place on this thing anyway before then. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with how it flew. I don't think it's as good a frame as the Alien. One thing that people complain about is the thickness of the arms, and you feel it. You definitely do. And one thing I noticed is that because I added this hovership mount, hovership sled for the GoPro mount, it is and with the heavy ESCs compared to like BL Heli S Acons, it is about the same weight as my Alien, because my Alien does not have the mount and it has lighter ESCs and overall a couple of lighter things. So it's about the same weight as my Alien, but it feels less powerful, and that I think is because of the super wide arms. They definitely block some of the air. If you don't have other frames that are similar to compare, you probably won't notice, but because of that, I can definitely tell. Overall, regardless, I think it flies really well. I think if I were going to tear it apart, I might find a way to shave those arms down and make them thinner, but I don't think I'm going to go through the trouble. I think this frame right now is as good as it's going to fly, and I'm pretty happy. But it's an exercise on really on determination, on making it fly, getting it to fly like I want it to, and not giving up. Even though, like I said, I think an Alien frame flies better. The one thing I might do is I might get rid of the hovership sled and put it on the Alien or on some other frame and just try and do just a foam wedge to see if I can drop the weight. I also want to get a Session 5 GoPro, and with that and just foam, I can probably get rid of about 12 grams from the camera alone, and then 15 grams from the sled, and add maybe another 5 for the foam, and you can see it's a pretty good weight savings, and I think it might help equalize it with the Alien. But anyway, just to tell you a little bit more, what I'm running here, I told you already, is the DYS SE motors, KISS ESCs with 1.03, KISS FC with RC29. I'll post a link. I'll post the PIDs that I'm running right now, or a screenshot or something from the description. And then I'm also running the Red Rotor OSD PDB, which I really like it, by the way. I used to fly the Quad Revo Power OSD Pro, and I still have some of those, but this one is just a little bit better. I'm also running a what's up, girl? My dog. I'm also running a H1177 camera, ready-made RC Cricket BTX, and X4R SB receiver for my Tyrannus, Foxeer antenna, and that is basically it. I actually dropped the plate here by about 10 millimeters. Basically all the room I can get to drop that plate down to get the CG to go down. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I could do it, so I did it. And that's it.